Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We read from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, 3rd chapter, text 7. Yas tu Indriyani Manasa. The books available. Bhagavad-Gita 3:7. There are more books there also, Gitas. Yam ya Arabhate Arjuna Karmendriyai Karma Yogam Asakta Sa Vishishyate Yastvindriyani Manasa Yastvindriyani Manasa Yam Yarabhate Arjuna Yam Yarabhate Arjuna Karmendriyai Karma Yogam Karmendriyai Karma Yogam Asakta Sa Vishishyate Asakta Sa Vishishyate Yastvindriyani Manasa Yam Yarabhate Arjuna Karmendriyai Karma Yogam Asakta Sa Vishishyate. Mataji's. Hey Prabhu, you're okay?
Huh?
You're okay?
Okay.
You're okay? Huh? Can you sit over here? I don't like the audience over here. In the blind winkel. Either you're here or out there. Yaha. One who. Two. But. Indriyani. The senses. Manasa. By the mind. Niyamya. Regulating. Arabhate. Begins. Arjuna. O Arjuna. Karma Indriyai. By the active sense organs. Karma Yogam. Devotion. Asakta. Without attachment. Saha. He. Vishishyate. Is by far the better. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment is by far superior. Purport. Instead of becoming a pseudo-transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime Svartagati, or goal of self-interest, is to reach Vishnu. The whole institution of Ananda Ashrama is designed to help us to reach this goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts show battle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. Yasvindriyani manasa nyamya rabate chuna karmendriyai karma yogam asakta sa vishishyate. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Om Agyati Maranyasya Gananchana Salakayam Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Kam Karoti Vachalam Pankum Langai Digrim Yat Kripatam Mahambante Shri Gurum Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishvaram Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindabevacha Patitanam Pamanebhyo Vaishnevyo Namo Namaha. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoditao Gaudadai Pushpavanto Chitta Shando Tamonadao. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this new chapter is entitled Karma Yoga. Already in the previous chapter, second chapter, the Lord concluded this chapter by describing the personality who is not attached, who is performing yoga with intelligence, and according to the question of Arjuna, Krishna described the symptoms of such a transcendentalist, who is known as Stitadi Muni. So he is an elevated person who is transcendentally situated in himself. But in the end, in the beginning of the third chapter, Arjuna, he asked Krishna to clarify this point, what is now better, what he is recommending, better to be active or to be inactive and be just fixed in the self or in the transcendence. Because sometimes Krishna, he recommended action, and sometimes he recommended to be giving up action and to be in meditation in trance. So Arjuna was confused. He wanted to clarify it by his guru, who is nobody else than Krishna. Please explain me what do you now consider better, action or inaction, meditation or work. Because I'm a warrior, I'm a kshatriya, so for me naturally it's to act, and I want, and I actually wanted to be yogi, or I would say not acting anymore, to withdraw from this war and live in a solitary place, not avoiding any kind of actions involving in violence. So Krishna, he's pointing out it is better to be honest worker who is acting with all his senses without any kind of attachment, without attachment to the fruits, for the pleasure of the Lord, or at least for the upliftment of the living entity to become purified of material attachments and become elevated to the platform of pure devotional service. So in the previous verse you heard, it was described by Krishna. He described a pretender, somebody who pretends to be a meditator or absorbed in the self, or considers himself or presents himself as an elevated devotee or yogi, but actually he still is contemplating the sense objects. He has some attachments. So that's described here in verse 6. One who restrains the senses of action, that means the karmendriya, means senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Mitya achara. Mitya. Mita means sense gratification. Mita. The pretender. The pretender who is attached to sense gratification. It's called Mitya achara. Achara means following. So he who following mita means sense objects, contemplating sense objects, and in the same time he considers himself, I'm a yogi, I'm meditating, or I'm chanting, but he still actually is contemplating, either directly, externally, or in the mind. As we know, brahmachari is not only the gross restraint of sex life, but it means also not to contemplate women, not to speak with women, or also not, especially not confidentially or unnecessarily. Actually, brahmachari or sannyasi should not speak at all with women. Lord Chaitanya gave very strict rules and regulation for sannyasi. By himself, he set his own example how one should be strict in his vow as a sannyasi, not to intermingle or with confidentially or even speaking with women, contemplating women, joking with women, thinking about women. So many times. There's about 7-8 items described in Shastra, but actually describes the qualification to be a brahmachari. Many devotees that cannot remain brahmachari although one tries externally to control senses, but then because one has still some weakness in the heart, or one has no ruchi, one is not fixed in Krishna, one has no ruchi, no taste in Krishna, one is not completely convinced about Krishna and how sweet devotional service to Krishna is. Means taste to Krishna or in devotional service is not really developed, and because the nature of a conditioned soul or of any living entity, liberated or conditioned, is to enjoy. We cannot live without enjoyment for even a moment. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Sri Bhakti Aloka, he says in the first verse, describing Atyahara Prayasascha Prachalpanyamagraha, giving explanation about each and every item of favorable, unfavorable and favorable devotional service. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that living entity cannot exist without enjoyment, without sense activities. It's not possible. If sense activities stop, if enjoyment stops, one dies. He says, one cannot exist. Maybe one doesn't die immediately, but gradually one dies. One is not existing anymore. One is only vegetating, like a vegetable, vegetating in his life, and that's that. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he told, those who have life, they can preach. Those who have no life, who are dead, they cannot do. They have to do something else. Try to somehow or other gratify the senses, or if they cannot gratify the senses anymore because the bodily senses are not anymore functioning proper due to old age or some disease, then life is not fun anymore. It is only miserable. It's not enjoying anymore. Therefore, everyone who is in this condition, he prays, oh, I hope I can go. I can die. There's no more use for that. And for a materialist to accept sannyas, not possible. And for a premature sadhaka or premature devotee or a candidate to become devotee, to immediately go to sannyas or to renunciation, it's not possible. It is not recommended for this age. No. Because one is too weak, too conditioned by one's own nature. Vacha Vega, Manasa Krodha Vega. And these are all conditionings of the conditioned souls in the material world, natural conditionings. So naturally we are conditioned to sense gratification. With the tongue, with the eyes, with the ears, with our active senses, with the hands, with the organs of procreation. Everything is fully engaged and out of control. So therefore, if somebody has this tendency to enjoy out of control, then one is on a very dangerous path. For the karmis or materialists, this is normal. So Bhagavad-Gita or Shastra is not speaking about them. It speaks about the transcendentalist. He who wants to become free of this material entanglement, of this cycle of birth and death, free of misery. The karmi, he wants to become free of misery by enjoying. And the jnani, he wants to become free of misery by attaining liberation. Who is the greatest sense gratifier? Somebody knows? Huh? The Jnani. Jnani is the greatest sense gratifier. Why? Because the karmi, the only one, only in this life, on short term, prayers, he wants to enjoy, to mitigate or to overcome misery. He likes to enjoy. He gives so much, for this short lifespan of life to enjoy. But the Jnani or yogi, he wants to attain enjoyment eternally on the liberated platform, not in contact with the material senses. Therefore, he is the better or the greater enjoyer. But the problem is, as long we are not attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to the Archa Vigraha, or to the holy name of Krishna, and the transcendental form of Krishna, the transcendental descriptions about Krishna, Krishna's devotees, the Shastras, the scriptures were describing Krishna. As long as we don't become attached to this process, we have to engage in so many different kinds of activities, illicit or unillicit, in a forbidden or in a not forbidden way, legal way. Problem is so or so, if we are legally or unlegally engaged in sense gratification, it is always a risk. It's a dangerous. There's danger on every step. Matirna Krishne, Parataksato va, Mritobi Bhadyeta Grihavratanam, Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram, Punak Punas Charvita Charvananam. So, Prahlad Maharaj, he's saying to his father, about his father, he's the great demon, Hiranyakashipu. Matirna Krishne, Paratok, he who cannot fix his mind on Krishna, Matir, intelligence, whose intelligence or mind is not fixed on Krishna, Matirna Krishne, Parataksato va, Mritobi Bhadyeta Grihavratanam, who took the vow of a Grihamedi, of materialistic householder, only enjoying the senses. Adanta Gobir, Vishatam Tamishram. Because he cannot control the senses, he's falling in the hole of under Tamishra, the dark hole of material existence. And there, in this repetition of birth, old age, birth and death, accepting always new body again and again, he's chewing the chewed again and again. Punak punas charvita charvananam. And he cannot learn the lesson either by his own experience, by the teaching of others, of the realized persons. He cannot learn, and he can also not learn from the mixture of both. Not by experience or not by hearing from others. So he's a hopeless case. Atirna Krishna Paradoxatova. Because as long what is the verse? As long we don't serve the Mahat, Mahiyasham Pada, Abhishekam, so we have to take shelter in the lotus feet or on the feet of the devotees and serve them, and to follow the Sat Acharya, not Nisidachara or Mitachara, the path of sense gratification, or the path of people who are only interested in sense gratification. This is called Nisidachara, bad sense gratification, bad style of life. So we have to follow Satacharya, Mahachani Yena Katasa Panta. Follow the path of the Mahachans, the great devotees of the Lord, because that path will lead to liberation. Mahat sevam tvaram ahor vimukte, tamo tvaram yoshita sangi sangham. If we become attached to the Mahat, to the devotees, Mahatmanastumam Pata, Daivarim Prakritim Ashrita, who take shelter in the devotional service to Krishna, Ashrita. If we become attached to them, that will lead to liberation, to the spiritual world. And if we become attached to the sense gratifiers, Tamodvaram Yoshita Sangi Sangam, then that will lead to repetition of birth and death and more suffering. So everyone wants to become free of suffering. Nobody wants to suffer. Everyone wants to enjoy. The renunciate wants to enjoy by stopping his senses, because he has a hope to attain a higher sense gratification in the liberated stage, either in Brahman realization or in Paramatma realization or in Bhagavan realization. So he has this hope. This is called Shreya. He is controlling the senses with the hope or the expectation and the faith. If I restrain this life and fix my mind in following rules and regulation, yama niyama, and controlling the mind and fixing the mind on the absolute truth, then ultimately I will attain that goal. But if the person is too untimely taking this path of renunciation, and this may be not himself ready, maybe it was only just out of a whimsical situation, because out of a frustrated experience, or because somebody else pushed him or inspired him in this direction, take sannyas or go the path of renunciation, or become a Babaji. It's also renunciate, it's also practically like a sannyasi. So if we do this untimely, then especially not following properly the Acharya example or teachings of the spiritual master, then one may fall, one may deviate. We heard many times the story, of the brahmachari whose guru told him he should read only Bhagavad-Gita. But then the mouse came, started to eat some slokas of the Gita, so he became sad, he cannot read all the Gita anymore. So some person told him, you should get a cat. So, but after the cat, he got a cat, then again there was a problem, because the cat always wanted to have milk. He wanted to get some affection from the brahmachari. The brahmachari was upset. Oh, again a disturbance. Now I have the cat, but now what I have to do? Now I have to give her milk, but how I will get milk here in the jungle? So there's no cows nearby, so I cannot get milk. Oh, somebody told him, you have to get a cow. Okay, get me a cow. And then the cow also started to moo. So she has to be milked. And also maintained, purified, cleansed, taken care of in the morning and in the evening. Protect also the cow from enemies. So brahmachari again became distracted. So what to do? Get a wife. So he got a wife. And wife, of course, was not satisfied just to live like a brahmachari in a hut in the jungle. Even there was a cow and a cat. She wanted to have a nicer house, nicer facility, so she was frustrated. Brahmachari, or this future, past brahmachari told, so what you need? Oh, I need this and this and this. So I had to arrange for all this and this and this. And then one day when the guru came to see how his disciple is doing, he sees all this. You have house now, you have wife, cow, etc. How is possible? I told you she only read Bhagavad-Gita. And then Brahmachari told Guru Maharaj that because of your instruction that I should read Bhagavad-Gita. So that was the result what came out. So the result is actually not bad, but we should not do it in the name of the renunciation. Therefore, Prabhupada is pointing out there is natural varnashram, the process of varna, ashrama. There is brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. And by following this varnashram, duties in varnashram, be active according to your nature in varnashram, choosing a certain varna and an ashrama, then Lord Vishnu will become satisfied by this process. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. So Lord Vishnu will be satisfied. Dharma svanustita pumsham vishvakshena kathasayat notbadiyet yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. So therefore occupations or duties according to should be done, is prescribed according to one's varna and ashrama, and it should be done or performed to please the Lord with it, with these kind of activities. It should not be done for one's own selfish sense gratification, fruitive activities. It should be done for the pleasure of the Lord. Samsiddhir haritosha. So to please the Lord with it. And if we can please Krishna with it, with one's activities, then we also partake in that satisfaction or happiness. And Krishna is pointing out here, this is far better for a sadhaka to be engaged in honest activity according to your varna than to become a premature renunciate, sannyasi, or renunciate, babaji, living inside isolated or secluded place. We should not imitate these liberated persons who are completely detached, like Haridas Thakur, like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. They became naturally detached because they were completely absorbed in the service of Krishna. Day and night, constantly they were absorbed with the mind, with the body, with the words, in devotional service. Therefore they were already Jiva Mukta, liberated. And everyone who actually follows them, following their instructions, they also become liberated. Therefore the Goswamis, they gave us so many books on the instruction of Lord Chaitanya. And if we read these books, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Upadeshamrita, like that, Priya Bhagavatamrita, by Sanatana and Rupa Goswami, then everything is described there, how a sadhaka can make progress in devotional service and ultimately become attached to Krishna, and where the bad habits gradually will be vanquished by the power of devotional service. So that's the process. So if we follow this process, following the great authorities of bhakti, not only the Puranic Mahajanas, but also new Mahajanas, modern, from Lord Chaitanya's time, Sanatana, Rupa Goswami, and all the whole Parampara. This is Mahajana Yena Katha Sapata. We don't have to invent any new process. The process is perfectly given by Acharya, because the Acharya is always empowered by the Lord and by the previous Acharyas. And the Shastras even say the Acharya is Krishna himself. Krishna himself sends the Acharya. That means he directly empowers and sends the Acharya to deliver according to the time, place and circumstances the human beings. Not only humans, everyone can become benefited. Like Srila Prabhupada, I read this in book of interviews with Prabhupada disciples of memories about Prabhupada. Govinda Dasi, one interview with her. So there was I think it was in, not sure, New Jersey or somewhere they were. And they were sitting in the garden, Prabhupada was sitting in the garden, and there was an, how we call this, it's a kind like a skull, but without shell. Like a bigger worm, in the garden. A snail, thank you. A snail, yeah. That's funny, Govinda Dasi, how she describes it, that he looked very ugly. An ugly species of life. So she felt, she was shocked to saw near to Prabhupada, and she showed, oh Prabhupada, look here, it is a snail. And what Prabhupada did, he told, chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna, because it's also a living entity, and all living entities, they have ears, so they can hear the transcendental sound. Not only human beings, even snails can become liberated, can become purified by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that was a great realization of Govinda Dasi, how Prabhupada always had a universal understanding and compassion with all living entities, not only with the humans. Even with such kind of ugly beings, species. To chant the holy name to this living entity. So that means he had understanding. The soul is in everyone's heart. The soul is everywhere. Sarvagata. Scientists say there are only living entities here. But actually living entities are everywhere. And all living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So they have a tendency to serve Him. That's their eternal nature, Swarup. Jivera Swarup Hoy, Krishna Nita Das. Everyone is by nature a servant of Krishna, of the Lord, Supreme Lord. But they're covered now by so much ignorance and so many strange bodies, species of life they have to take. So Acharya comes, he liberates the Stavara and Jangama. There's a description in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Stavara Jangama deke na deke taramurti, sarvatra hoy nicha ista deva spurti. So the Mahabhagavata, he sees certainly the moving and the non-moving living entities, but he doesn't give any attention. I like this one, or I dislike this, or I don't like that one, because of external feature or appearance of the species of life. He doesn't feel something is nice and something is bad, because this is all Manudharma, Lord Chaitanya told. So the Mahabhagavata, he sees moving and non-moving beings, Stavara Jangama, Deke, not Deke Tarabhurti, but he doesn't give attention to what kind of murti, what kind of form they have. if this is sympathetic to me or not. Because as soon you become sympathetic to a murti or to a form, what happens? You feel attachment. Oh, it's beautiful. And if you think consider a murti, a certain form, not sympathetic, disgusting, not beautiful, oh, so bad. No? It's just the opposite side of attachment. It's the opposite side of the same attachment. It's also attachment. Therefore, Mahabhagavata, naturally, he doesn't see good or bad. Because good or bad is both comes from attachment to the sense of certain sense objects or forms of life. So stavara changamadeke nateke taramurti sarvatra hoy nicha istadeva spurti. He only sees Ishtadev, the spurti of the Ishtadev. He sees the Lord in his heart or in everyone's heart. He understands everyone has a spurti of his Ishtadev in him. Yam Shyama Sundaram Achinte Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purasham Tamam Bachami. He sees everywhere Shyama Sundar, Krishna, in everyone's heart, or the super soul, because he's also Ishtadev. But for a Vaishnava, the deity or the Lord, particular Lord, what is most prominent in his life becomes his Ishtadev. That means super soul manifests, or this kind of form, who is most dear to the devotee. And the devotee only is attached to Krishna, to Shyama Sundar. And therefore he sees wherever he looks, Krishna. Everywhere is a reflection of Krishna. Everywhere Krishna's Spurti is there. So he's so much inspired. He's not inspired to the form, he's inspired to see Krishna there. Therefore, a liberated devotee, especially Mahabhagavata, not every liberated person, Mahabhagavata, he sees Krishna everywhere. In the moving and the non-moving. But he's not attached to any form, to any species of life, or any beauty or ugliness. He's not feeling any feeling. It doesn't show emotion. Emotion, bhava, it's a manifestation of attachment to something. Therefore, there is materialistic bhava, or also asura bhava, or there is also bhava in relation to Krishna, on the level of pre-stage of prema. As long as we have feeling to the material, to the temporary, we cannot have this bhava or this love to Krishna, these feelings of love for Krishna. Not possible. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, in Nectar of Devotion, he describes that the situation, the discussion of one Saki Gopi to her other friend, Saki Gopi. So telling her, no, I just came now from Keshigat, on the Yamuna, and on there I saw Govinda, I saw Krishna playing on the flute, standing underneath a kalpa tree, or vata tree, means banyan tree. He's standing there in his beautiful Shyama Sundara form, three curved form, blackish color, with yellow dhoti, with peacock feather, with flute, with beautiful lotus eyes. But I warn you, Saki, don't go to that place as long as you still have attachment to a family, friendship and love. Don't go there. So the meaning is, you should go there, because if you If you go there, you will lose all your attachments. But in case Krishna takes your attachment and you're still attached to family, friendship and love and so on, then maybe you blame Krishna. Oh, you took me away everything. And then you cry. You may lament. And on the unripe stage, you consider this. Krishna is very hard, very harsh. He's very cruel. But on the advanced stage, or on the stage of Sharanagati, of surrendering, if Krishna takes away everything from you, what you are attached, to what you are attached, then you consider this great mercy, great kripa, great mercy, and you are thankful to Krishna. Oh, you deliver me from all my attachments. I could never get rid of all this attachment on my own, but you are so merciful. Therefore, I'm very proud that I have such a wonderful master as you. Krishna is the best master, because the service to him makes you satisfied, makes you detached from all kinds of sense objects and miseries in life, happiness and misery in life, and makes you more and more attached to the perfect master, perfect Lord, Sri Krishna. And therefore the devotee feels proud that they have such a good master, such a nice master who is taking personal care for him. According to how we surrender to Krishna, Krishna personally responds, he takes care. These we can see. Yetemam prapatyante tamsathai bhajamyam. We can experience every day, accordingly, how much we are fixed to Krishna, how much we are connected single-mindedly to Krishna, how Krishna responds. And if we are Bahushaka or many branched or have other interests next to besides of Krishna, then Krishna is just there like a doll, like a statue, lifeless, not responding anything. But he responds according to our devotion. That's bhakti, and that's the process we have to try to develop by following the guidelines of Guru and the scriptures and the realized devotees. So I stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Glory to Prabhupada. Any question maybe? Can you come here and speak in the mic?
A couple of days ago, you said that the Bhagavad-Gita was confidential and that Arjuna shouldn't tell anyone. Then why are we preaching it to karmis?
You really want to know it? This is devotee's mercy. Although Krishna says don't speak about this confidential Bhagavad-Gita discussion, dialogue between you and me to the envious and non-devotees. Don't tell it to them. But the devotee, he still thinks, because Krishna also says, actually directly after that, he who is preaching this Bhagavad-Gita or speaking this Bhagavad-Gita to my devotees is become very dear to me. But Prabhupada's point was or the Bhagavad's point is that how we can recognize a devotee, how we can see who is a devotee. So we can see only devotee becomes manifest by coming in contact with Bhagavata devotee. Because the Bhagavata devotee is like a touchstone It's like a Chintamani. And by coming in contact with such a Chintamani devotee, that person also becomes Chintamani, becomes changed, becomes converted from rusty iron into pure gold. So that's mercy, that's a kripa, the kripa of the devotee. Because Krishna gives this mission or this mercy to give Krishna to whomever devotee wants, he gives that to his confidential devotee. Like Nityananda Prabhu and other great devotees. They got this mission. Everyone who follows Nityananda Prabhu, assisting him in Lord Chaitanya's mission, spreading Krishna consciousness to whoever you meet and wherever you go. That's a universal instruction what Lord Chaitanya gave to all his devotees. And those who follow that, they become directly empowered by the Lord. Therefore they can do miracles, how they can change others into devotees. Although they in the beginning had no interest, no attraction. Even thought, they're okay, these people, but I will never become like them. I cannot imagine to live like them, to dress like them. That's not possible for me. But then it happened still. It happened. Kaviraj Goswami make also a very nice statement in Adi Leela 4 chapter, Adi Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, that's actually very confidential what I want to tell you about Lord Chaitanya's internal reason of his coming to this world. I'm afraid that the non-devotees and those who are critical or offenders, that they may criticize the Lord or find fault in it. But still I will write about it. Because if I'm writing about it, I become very jubilant. Because I understand those who are not devoted, they will anyway not understand. Those who are envious or critical, even if they try to read, even if they hear the message, they will not understand. And this gives me a great happiness. Because one should not throw the pearls before the swine or hog, Bible saying. So we should not reveal something very confidential, something very valuable to those who cannot appreciate it. Therefore, these higher subjects or topics of Krishna consciousness are in general not preached. Of surrendering and love to Krishna, like that, symptoms of love to Krishna, this is not preached. This we cannot preach, we have to realize it. We can only hint on it, giving direction or give a little information about it. But also Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, ultimately the devotee himself has to realize it, and by meditation, by samadhi. It's not possible that somebody can give it to you like that. You only can hint, give you some information. And in Prabhupada's books, you can mostly see that he speaks very basically. We are not this body, we are spirit, soul. How we should act, how we should not act. Who is God? Who are you? What is your relationship? Engage in devotional service, associate with devotees, don't associate with materialistic people, like that. So the general teachings as basic he gave. And that is also in the Bhagavad-Gita. But the most confidential parts or section of the Bhagavad-Gita, the materialists anyway don't understand. Not even the yogis, the impersonalists understand. Like one time when Prabhupada, how was it? Yeah, somebody came to him. She was a disciple from some popular guru at that time. And that guru also wrote, he was a Swami from Mayavadi, I guess. It was not mentioned, the name. So that Swami, he wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-Gita. So Prabhupada asked, so what he was teaching in the Bhagavad-Gita? And then she told, yeah, he taught that Krishna means black. And black means that what is not to be known. Because if everything is black or dark, that means he's not to be known. In other words, he wanted to say, it is not the Lord outside what we can know, it is only that what is inside. So Prabhupada immediately said, then why he wrote Bhagavad-Gita? Then why he wrote a commentary to Bhagavad-Gita if he cannot explain who Krishna is? So that means a commentator of Bhagavad-Gita, he has to be a devotee of Krishna. He cannot be a Mayavadi or impersonalist or Jnani or yogi or karmi or a politician or whatever, socialist or philanthropist or whatever. He cannot. They cannot understand. They cannot present Krishna as it is. The confidential part or instruction what Krishna gives, man mana bhava matbhakto and sarva dharma parityajam, they don't understand. Because their intelligence is stolen by Maya. Maya paritagyan. So they cannot understand. Still, a devotee maybe preaches and distributes books, because one never knows, somebody will take and will accept the process, will become a devotee. So it's a risk. It's a risk. Okay? Because if if one doesn't try and you only wait who is now a devotee to whom I can speak, it's difficult to find, especially if there is no devotees around in Kali Yuga, in the beginning. So Prabhupada, he had to try and find out who is willing to take. Therefore, he always told when we give them a book, they should pay for the book, because they give something from their hard-earned money, and then that means they will respect the book, they will read the book, or at least respect and keep it in the shelf, because they paid for it. And then it's like a time bomb. They may be not ready, maybe they themselves are not ready at that time, but somebody else will read, or they become devoted themselves later on. So sooner or later these books will find somebody who will read them and will have the change in the heart. Other question? Okay. I'm going to stop here. Hare Krishna, glory to Prabhupada.